Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast. I am one of your hosts, Wrestling Chris G from Sports Entertainment Breakdown, and on the other line with me is, I'm not even sure what to even call him this week. The Ketchup Man? Yeah, we'll go with that. The Ketchup Man, good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie Man, how you doing?
I don't like ketchup.
I know you love ketchup, especially on your hot dog.
No, because I'm not a 5.
Oh, for people that's wondering, we are from Illinois, and me and Doug have an ongoing joke that will never get old about how I put ketchup on hot dogs, and he calls me a 5-year-old because he says you only eat ketchup on a hot dog until you're 5, and after 5 you have no excuse.
Or you're a woman.
Or a woman. Wait. My son eats ketchup on his hot dog. No, he doesn't. He doesn't like any type of sauce on it. He eats a dry hot dog. So
you gotta have a little bit of mustard or something.
No. He gets the hot dog in the bun and takes the bun off and just eats the hot dog.
Oh boy.
So, all right. But today's episode is called Showdown at Dark City, or translated from Japan. I might like this one better. It's called Showdown, Pokémon Gym.
Nah.
No, you like Showdown at Dark City?
I gotta go with Dark City on this one.
All right. So this episode aired April 30th of 1998, and here in the States, October 29th of 1998. And unlike last week where I went first, you're going first this week, Doug, on the history.
So on this date in 1960, the great boxer Muhammad Ali makes his professional debut in a winning fashion, defeating boxer Toonie Hunsaker.
Yeah, I was about to say I won't be able to to tell you.
He won in 6 rounds. He won via points, and he would then go on to be something stupid like 30-something and 0 until he got his first defeat.
Really?
But this was his first victory, and if I was prepared, I would have, because I looked it up, because I was like, okay, that was his first one, but when was his first loss? And then I looked it up, and if I have about 5 seconds, I can get it.
Okay.
Wikipedia is not the most organized. He was 31-0 before he lost to Joe Frazier in 1971.
Okay. Well, good history moment, Doug.
Yeah.
Well, mine happened in 2008, and it wouldn't be a Pokemon podcast if I didn't bring it back again to a James Bond film, Quantum of Solace, the 22nd James Bond film starring Daniel Craig, premiered in London on this day, Doug.
So, I'm not a Bond guy. I'm aware of them because they come out, and some of them get good praise, some of them are whatever. So this was the 22nd.
Yes.
And this was in 2008?
Yes, it was.
What are we up to now?
That's a good question. I wasn't prepared for that one. Let's just ask Google. How many James Bond... Oh, it finished it for me. How many James Bond movies are there? It says... All right, we are at 25. 25 James Bond film, with the last one being called No Time to Die. And then we have non-Eon films are Casino Royale and Never Say Never Again. So I guess he makes an appearance on 2 extra movies, which I guess you can consider 27 movies, but 25 mainstream movies. So, all right.
Is No Time to Die out? Because I know that was one of the many movies that got affected by COVID.
That's a good question, Doug. Let's see. I will pull that back up right now. Let's see. No Time to Die 2021. No, it is not out yet.
Right.
Let's see. Spectra 2021. No Time to Die. If I was more prepared, I'd have a little bit more on this. The film is scheduled to release September 30th of 2021 and October 8th in the United Kingdom. So, all right.
There you go.
And it says right here that, yes, this movie was affected by COVID-19.
Yeah, and I believe it is, it's Craig's last one. So if there's going to be more, there's going to be another James Bond.
Yes. So, all right. Well, I'm sure on a future date we'll get another James Bond film, but we're leaving it to on the 22nd movie. So, are you ready to jump on into this week's episode, Doug?
Yes.
All right. So, let me make sure I still have this thing muted because my dumbass. Yes, I do. Okay. Perfect. It says skip intro. I'm going to skip the intro and I'm going to get the subtitles on because that is what I do, people. All right. So this week we start the episode actually pretty clean. Our heroes are actually arriving and we get a clear sign of a broken sign that says Dark City. And the trio kind of looks a little puzzled at this point because the town looks abandoned. And as soon as they walk in, there's a kid outside playing. And the mother comes and grabs the child and says, "Get back in here. There might be Pokemon trainers out," which was pretty weird.
That's a weird line, especially considering what the show is. And then, Misty has to speak for the audience and say, why are they afraid of Pokemon trainers? And then we're bombarded by rocks.
Yes.
And Pikachu jumps up on Ash's head and throws a thunder shock and hits 3 people on top of a roof, and they tumble into a bale of hay, and it turns out that they're 3 kids. So Ash just attacked 3 children.
That's a perfect way to start an episode, isn't it? Let's go ahead and get some child endangerment in our episode.
And you can sit there and go, but Doug, Ash is only 10, so it's a child attacking children. But if he's 10, those kids can't be more than 7.
I'd say they're probably as young as 5. Because they all got shocked by Pikachu's Thunder Shock, which can't really be too bad because, I mean, I'm sure Pikachu kind of lessened his attack on whatever was up there, but these kids tumbled right down and they made sure that there was a piece of hay down there because they didn't want these kids crashed into the ground. So, all right. So, but after that happens, let's see.
Then we go through the whole spiel. Ash says, I want to be the greatest Pokemon trainer in the world. Brock says, I want to be the best breeder. And Misty just says she's going to be the world's best everything.
Yes. But these kids do not care as to what they're trying to be. And one of them even has a damn stick and fucking pounds Ash's head in. And until a nice old gentleman walks over.
He says, I hope my children didn't mean to cost you any trouble
He's like,
or cause you any trouble.
and that he will explain everything.
So they go to the restaurant, and then we get a backstory of the town. Apparently, there are two rival gyms in Dark City, and they're both fighting for official what's the governing body?
So they're official gyms.
Official Johto recognition or whatever.
Yeah. Well, Kanto.
Kanto.
But, yes. So yeah, because we haven't hit the Johto yet.
Right.
But yeah, they're official gyms, and the Yaz and Kaz gyms, and it seems like the two gyms just don't like each other because one gym has a Scyther, the other has an Electabuzz, and they are just fighting, and it gets pretty violent to where kids can't be outside playing. Everyone's scared of Pokemon trainers, and it's just pretty bad in this town. You would think that it would be like the closest to gang warfare.
I understand it. I understand it because obviously only one of them is going to get the official gym recognition, right?
Yes.
So it's supremacy. It's Raw versus SmackDown. It's Coke versus Pepsi. It's red versus blue.
Yeah, and it's at this point we see both. Both parties are attacking each other. The trio had enough wherewithal to just look out the window of one of the buildings, and they see the chaos going on underneath them.
As Pikachu hugs its ketchup bottle.
Yes, because
you say, why are you going to bring that up? It's just a funny. Well, no, unfortunately, that ketchup bottle plays a pretty substantial part in this episode.
Which is why I said you like ketchup.
I don't mind ketchup. It just doesn't belong anywhere near a hot dog.
So it's at this point, Ash is talking about how it's not professional for these two gyms to be attacking each other. They should just be full-blown Pokemon trainers. And we go from that to Meowth from Team Rocket walking into the old man's building, and the old man is scared shitless.
Yes, because he's being confronted by two bodyguards for Kaz Gym.
Yes.
And they're trying to get the Kaz Gym bar tab wiped. And the guy's refusing because the Kaz Gym employees have run up a pretty substantial tab.
I was about to say, and the town already doesn't get too many bypassers, so he'll be losing out on a lot of money if Team Rocket just leaves out.
Well, we don't know they're Team Rocket yet.
Well, we do. I mean,
we do.
I mean, the man doesn't know this, but we watching the show. I mean, even the 8-year-old down the road is watching this show, going, "That's Team Rocket."
Well, pretty smart 8th graders or 8-year-olds these days.
I know, for real. So, hey, we're not giving us any credit from when we watched the show as children.
I don't know. I was pretty stupid.
But the old man is looking at them and goes, "Look, I don't want any trouble, but you can't give us, or you can't have a free lunch, guys." He's like, "Just leave me alone." And then he's like, "I'm not here to cause any trouble." And as soon as he says the word trouble, we get a close up of Jesse's ear for all you ear lovers out there. And but oh fuck. Sometimes I just trip myself up. I'm not even going to edit this part out.
I was not expecting that.
No. But her ear perks up on the word trouble. So Doug, I'm gonna let you take this part over real quick.
So that basically means the Team Rocket is powerless. They have to launch into their spiel. They have to throw their costumes off. They do the motto. You know the motto by now. I'm not doing it. I'm not wasting.
No, do the motto, Doug. I did the
I'm not
motto on the
doing it.
last. I did it on the last episode. You do it.
Well, then people can cycle back. You got shit to do. And they call out their cough, their wheezing, and their Arbok, and pardon me, Ash sends out Pikachu, and
It's a gang warfare inside of this old man's building.
And Misty throws out Starmie, and Brock calls out Vulpix, and everybody's shocked. And Vulpix just fire, just freaking burns Team Rocket to a crisp. But they go running out. Misty says goodbye and don't come back anytime. And Misty says, well, anyway, whatever. They do that, and then we see this mysterious figure standing in the corner.
And
kind of being dumb, drinking a cup of coffee with a mask on.
yeah, I mean, COVID's the thing, people.
Pokemon called it all the way in 1998.
Yeah, for real. But it's at this point, yeah, I love, let's not throw away that she had the cup of whatever. It looks like coffee. And
yeah.
And she goes to sip this coffee with the mask on and forgets to take the mask down and gets coffee all over her mask.
And I mean, obviously she doesn't realize it, but us as viewers do.
Yeah. But after that happens, a very cute lady pops in, and of course Brock takes over. Doug?
And she says, well, I saw all that, and Brock immediately jumps into frame and says, is there anything I can help you with? And she says, well, those were two of the strongest bodyguards at Kaz's gym. You must be extremely gifted. And, I need to know your names because you're heroes. And Brock is completely smitten. He's about to give her his bank information. And Brock is all aw shucksin'. And then Misty has a little bit of common sense and says, we don't need to be getting mixed up in this gang warfare.
See, even they acknowledge that it's gang warfare.
And she says, we don't want to lose our reputation as trainers, and we're going to make up names.
And Pikachu's just sitting on the ground with
just housing a bottle of ketchup.
Just licking this ketchup to death.
and Ash is so proud of himself. He says, I'm Tom Ado. And they fall out.
Tom Ado.
And Misty says, well, I'm Anchovy. and Brock says,
hold on.
Brock is Caesar salad. Brock is Caesar salad.
I'm Caesar salad. And she's like, Tom and Caesar, would you consider joining our cause at the Yaz gym?
Because as viewers, we're thrown into this possible multi-decade feud, and we have 20 minutes to figure out whose side we're supposed to be on.
Because we're already 7 minutes into this episode.
And apparently, we're Team Yaz.
And Ash is...
Brock is tripping all over himself to help this pretty girl.
I know. And Ash looks over at Misty and just throws Misty under the bus and goes, well, you better ask Anchovy.
He has no room to stand on anything. He's Tom Ado.
And Misty's like, well, we can't do it. Isn't that right, Caesar salad? As she looks over at Brock.
I'd do anything to help.
And Misty just throws her head back and is like, what the fuck, Brock? Did you not learn your lesson from the St. Anne?
Pussy makes you do weird things.
He'll go down with a sinking ship for a woman. He don't care.
Yeah. I don't give no fuck.
So it's at this moment Misty and Ash are sitting on the ground, and Misty's just like, Brock just can't say no to a pretty girl, and he's smitten all over this girl, and the girl's she's not putting it down. She's tilting her head from side to side, going, "Hey, we're gonna have these 3 really good trainers come and join our gym. Let's do it."
So, pardon me. They walk in and we see, the Yaz workers are like, they're lifting weights and they're
Bodybuilders.
all jacked.
And they mean business. Like they walk in and everybody just snarls at them. And Ash and Misty and Brock are they're kind of putting back because, you look at this lady and then you walk into this gym. And I know Brock was hoping that there was going to be a lot more pretty women up in here. And it's a bunch of built men who just look at them and they're just, what the hell did we just get ourselves into? And, and Pikachu still has the ketchup bottle.
Still has the bottle of ketchup, which still hasn't come into play yet. And so they walk back and they find the leader of the gym. And they say, I want to introduce you to
Tom Ado,
the great trader, Tom Ado, and his friends, anchovy and Caesar salad.
And
she calls Brock and Misty Ash's 2 deputies.
Yes. And then has enough nerve to call them bodyguards, and that they'll be bodyguards for the gym because they're really tough. And the gym leader looks over his shoulder and he's like, I'll decide just how strong they are.
And he sinks the Scyther on them.
Yeah, just Scyther, go! And
Pikachu is rightfully horrified and holds the bottle of ketchup up to protect itself.
Yes.
And the ketchup squirts out into Scyther's eyes.
He just sees red.
And gets angry, like steaming angry, and starts attacking the leader.
And he's like, Scyther, what is it? And Scyther is just slice and dice. And the trainer is like, whoa, hey, Scyther, what are you doing, man? And then he has to call Scyther back into his Pokeball.
And he says, well, I've never seen Scyther get spooked so easily.
And they're like, man, you guys must be some strong trainers. And then we get a picture of Pikachu holding the Scyther cut up ketchup bottle, just crying.
just heartbroken.
and just falls off screen. But then we get Ash, and Ash walks over to the leader and he's like, first, I have one thing to ask you. Why is it so important that this is the official Pokemon gym? And Doug?
Well, I let my freaking...
I got you.
I let my thing run.
The gym leader at this gym, he's like...
he says it's I found it.
Oh, okay.
He says it's the fastest way to make money in today's world.
Yeah. He said, then becoming an official Pokemon gym. And Ash just looks down and goes, well, if that's your reason, I won't become your bodyguard, because Pokemon are not just tools for fighting or a way of making money. And this is when the true heart of Ash comes out. And he's like, and I know because I plan on becoming a Pokemon master. There's the line.
And it's such a good line, and he's so proud of himself. And he goes to turn and walk away, and he slips on a pile of ketchup.
He's like, because Ash was so happy with that line that he's like, yeah, that's good. And then in the subtitles, it says dramatic music. and then he slips, and Ash just goes, that was pathetic.
Like even he knows. It's like, well, shit.
I just lost my balance and lost all credibility in just one big slip.
And the leader calls out a handful of other trainers, and they throw out their Pokeballs, and they all have fighting Pokemon, and they beat the shit out of Ash.
Yes. So let me see. All right. So as Ash is getting his butt kicked by these four Pokemon, Misty and Brock kind of lift him up out of the battle and just run away. And they run out of the gym.
And they run out of the gym and they run back to the restaurant.
And they're like, wow, that was a close one. That Yaz gym plays rough, Ash goes. And Misty's like, I think the Kaz gym plays just the same way. So they're not at this point, they're not convinced that there's any helping these or either one of these gyms, Doug.
No, because Ash made a comment earlier when we were getting the first like rumble that he's like, it's not really even a battle. This is more like a street fight. And especially now that he learned that the Yaz gym, they're motivated by money, and one would infer then that Kaz is motivated by the same thing, especially because we just saw Team Rocket shaking down the restaurant owner for a tab.
Yes.
So I would say, with the benefit of hindsight, that the best course of action would be to get the fuck out of here and save 12 minutes.
Yes, but we still have 12 minutes left, including the poker wrap. So we really only have about 9 minutes left. But it's at this point, Brock is like, if this keeps up, people will think all Pokemon trainers are dangerous. And then goes, yeah, that Scyther is really scary. And Pikachu's holding the tip to the ketchup bottle, still all heartbroken.
Just completely just
defeated.
Dejected.
And Misty's like, I wonder how we can get out so easily. And then Ash is like, I don't know. And then they think back to Scyther cutting into the ketchup bottle and then opens the bright idea that ketchup is what made Scyther see red.
So, and then, pardon me, then Ash has like
a Dexter
this
moment.
big light bulb moment, and he pulls out Dexter, and apparently Scyther and Electabuzz, that's convenient,
are both rare Pokemon.
And they both have the ability to distinguish colors, and they get extremely mad when they see the color red. So if Pikachu would have had a bottle of mustard, we would have been fine.
But because Pikachu had ketchup just enraged this Pokemon. So, and it's at this point that one of the kids runs over to Ash and goes, Electabuzz is the strongest Pokemon over at the Kaz gym. And Ash is like, well, if we work together, we might just be able to beat him. And that's when Ash's light bulb goes off, and we know nothing can go right when his light bulb goes out.
Yeah, apparently, or unfortunately, we've got 41 episodes of proof that not all of Ash's ideas are home runs.
Yes. So we go straight from that back out to one of the leaders. I think this is the Kaz gym leader. And he said the Pokemon lead inspector will be coming through our town at any minute. And this is the Yaz gym. And he's like, right. we have to run those Kaz gym losers out of town before he gets here. So basically, this inspector is coming, and when he gets into town, he is going to pick the official Pokemon gym, which is the strongest gym that's in the town. So why even go through all this trouble if the inspector is going to be the one to choose the leader anyway?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in my head, this is a simple one-on-one battle. Winner gets certification.
Yes.
Loser has to disband or become a training seminar or whatever the fuck. But instead, we get one big freaking rumble like in the goddamn Outsiders.
Yes.
And
apparently Jesse and James have joined the Kaz Gym because they're distinguishedly in the background as the leader of the Kaz Gym is giving the same spiel about the inspector.
Right, and like this is something that has never been touched on. I mean, obviously they've never been in Dark City, so there was no reason to bring it up. But it's just weird. It's like, we find out little things every once in a while about Jesse and James. They run a bike gang, and
now they're in a gym gang, and never
rich.
Yeah, just full background, and they they left all their money to be villains. And I'm sure if they don't I believe at some point in the series, I'll have to double back a little bit, but wouldn't they be more of a help for Giovanni if they actually used their own funds from their family to help capture some of these Pokemon? And
well, you'd think so.
But at one point, Giovanni says that they're so far in debt that they would have to basically do everything on their own to repay them. They're like millions and millions of dollars in debt from all the gadgets that they buy with their Team Rocket credit card.
Which they've probably maxed out and should probably be cut up by now.
Yes. So, all right. So it's at this moment that we see our heroes on top of one of the buildings, and they're building some type of mechanism and have barrels and barrels full of something. And we find out in just a moment what's inside of these barrels. But at this time, Ash is like, all right, weather looks fine and everything is all set and ready to go. So, Doug, you want to take it from here?
Yeah, so as you said, they're on the roof and they're just waiting for the proper signal to unleash these barrels, and they let them go, and we find out that it's just barrels and barrels of ketchup.
Yes.
And everybody down there battling gets drenched. The gym leaders, Team Rocket, and there's it's my best suit, and Scyther and Electabuzz turn around to their respective trainers, see red, and just immediately start glowing red eyes.
And they destroy a building that apparently Team Rocket was on, and Team Rocket just falls to the ground. And I don't think Team Rocket gets mentioned anymore after that. They just get engulfed in the building.
Yeah, well, yeah, they just get ketchup and then they get crumbled.
Yes.
And then Electabuzz and Scyther attack their respective trainers, and Ash is up there literally on his high horse.
And basically we find out that since the trainers are red, Electabuzz and Scyther just give no fucks and just basically just beat the hell out of their trainers, and here comes the inspector.
And well, not quite.
Well,
because
Scyther and Electabuzz get ketchup thrown on them.
Because Ash is coming in for the save at the last moment, and he calls out Bulbasaur, and Bulbasaur throws ketchup, and Scyther and Electabuzz like you say, they get drenched and they have a showdown.
But they can't really see anything, so they charge at each other and just full blown headbutts each other and knock each other out.
Like Roman Reigns and Edge.
Good take. Yeah, everybody,
Timely.
we're recording this the day after WrestleMania 37. So good reference, Doug. Good reference.
Yeah, I realized as that was coming out, I was like, we haven't identified where we are yet. So,
we're recording this on April 12th, everybody, of 2021.
So yeah, Electabuzz and Scyther knock each other out, and then the trainers come together and realize who the true enemy is. Those idiot kids on the roof.
Yes, and it's at this point that we find out what those big towers that Misty was putting on these buildings were, and Pikachu goes and full-blown thunder shocks those electrodes that's on top of the building, and those circuits had a big cord leaning to the ground and completely fries everybody that is sitting on the ground, which is everybody from the Yaz Gym and the Kaz Gym.
And then Ash is sitting there going, now, aren't you going to get along? And they get up and they have, pardon me, they have sticks. And they say, it would be smart of you to run now. And then this mysterious masked figure steps in front of them again. And they the leaders demand to know who she is.
And she has a Pokeball with Chansey flowers on top of it.
And throws it out. It is a Chansey, and it's at that point we're putting two and two together. If we're seeing it for the first time, we realize, oh shit.
It wasn't Team Rocket. It was Nurse Joy.
Nurse Joy, and she's apparently the gym decider, or the inspector, thank you.
Yes. And Brock gets all smitten again.
And she's got a pink cross.
Yes, a pink cross. Good catch, Doug.
Every time you fucked me up.
And she's like, I could never allow people who use Pokemon for nothing but street fighting to open an official Pokemon gym. And they both go, please, Nurse Joy, won't you give us another chance? Doug?
She says, you should learn to be a trainer, much more like him. And she points to Ash. And Ash says, who, me? And and then
blowing Ash's head all up.
They're basically at his feet saying, teach us your ways. And he says you shouldn't be using Pokemon to beat each other.
He's like, Pokemon are really our friends, so we've got to be kind to them. He's like, but what about Pokemon battles?
And he says, sure, you try to beat each other, but you don't try to beat each other.
Yeah.
Or no, he says, sure, you try to win, but you don't try to beat each other. And they're thoroughly confused, and I was confused.
And he goes, with all your strength, isn't that the same as fighting? They're asking Ash, and he's like, no, not at all. Sure, you try to win, but you don't try to beat each other. And then they're like, huh? And what Brock chimes in, he's like, what Ash is trying to say anyway. And he's like, and Misty goes, I don't even think he knows what he's trying to say.
And then Ash completely abandons that line of thinking and says, okay, first of all, we need to fix this town.
Because everything is broken.
And then they say, yes, Tom Ado. And Ash says, I should have picked a better name. And then we see a montage of the Pokemon and trainers working together to rebuild the houses.
I'm gonna tip my hat off at the creativity of one of the shots in this whole thing. And you have Electabuzz, who's holding two pieces of wire that's been snapped by Scyther, and he's using his electricity from his body to generate electricity into both of these wires so they can have power to do what they're doing.
Not bad.
No, not bad at all. I fully appreciate that. So.
And it looks like the town's on the right track, and we're back with our three heroes and the kids from the beginning. And they say they've decided that they don't hate Pokemon trainers anymore, and they want to be trainers themselves.
And we get the general ending that we bless you again. And we get the typical ending to our trio's Pokemon adventure, where we get the trio basically walking away. Well, no. Actually, let's.
There's a really funny bit that you're about to skip over.
Yeah, I was about to skip over it, but they're like, "Oh, we need an autograph," and Ash is like, "Well, from Pikachu," and then Ash just falls straight on his ass.
does the anime fall, and Pikachu's looking confused, and then we cut to our heroes walking away, and we see the kids are holding their autograph books.
And they each got a what looks like a footprint from Pikachu.
Pikachu.
And the narrator cuts in to say that now Dark City is a lot brighter. Don't you just love his narration, Doug?
And as our heroes are walking away, we hear the kids say, "We'll miss you," and there's a pause.
Pikachu!
Ash falls again. And then for the second week in a row, we end the episode with Team Rocket coming out of the rubble of the house that they were on.
And they're completely covered in ketchup.
And out of nowhere, Scyther and Electabuzz come charging down the road. And they jump them. And then in midair is where we cut. We see Team Rocket running away, and Scyther and Electabuzz are about to attack.
I'm gonna guess that Scyther cut part of Jesse's hair, and Electabuzz shocked them, and they just went blasting away.
And I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I know,
but
they were short on time. They said we got 5 seconds left, so we got to get this out of here.
That's our own fault for having 2 minutes for the Poke-Rap.
I know, but all right. So that's the end of this week's episode, Doug. So what is Doug's rating on Showdown at Dark City, our second filler episode for the second week in a row?
I liked it better than last week's episode.
All right.
I didn't think I would. I think because it was a little more Ash-impact.
Yeah, it kind of had a little bit more story to go along with than the last one, because the last week's episode just kind of generalized the Poke Flute. I mean, it's the one and only episode where we're going to get the Poke Flute in the episode, but it's kind of, okay, we find a Snorlax, we're going to play the Poke Flute, we're going to wake up Snorlax. Oh shit. There's vines that's blocking the water. We're going to chop up the vines. Here's the water. Boom. See, I just did a whole 20-minute episode in 30 seconds.
Oh, and by the way, Snorlax's favorite food, it just happens to be the vines that are blocking the water.
Yes. And it ate 900 pounds of it.
Right.
So, yeah, I do like the story this week. Dark City actually seems like a great city at the end of this episode. And to be honest, I'm kind of wondering which gym ended up becoming the official Pokemon gym, unless they both work together and they're both the head gym leaders now.
And they just combine themselves in their Kazias.
Yeah, because to be honest, we never actually got an official Pokemon gym out of either one of these episodes. So
no, and that would have bumped it up a little more if but then I mean, there's not enough time to do that episode for one of them to be called the official gym, and then Ash to battle one of them.
Yes,
because we're not in the age of random
Pokemon
double-length episodes.
Yeah, I mean, we did have the unofficial Pokemon gym earlier in our series, so, and to be honest, I mean that's one of our more popular episodes. So, yeah, but. All right, everybody. So we're going to start heading out before we start babbling a little bit too much. So next week's episode is The March of the Executor Squad, or translated from Japanese, The Huge March of the Nassy Squad. And that's Nassy, Nassy, and not nasty. So,
which would have made sense.
Yes. So go ahead and say goodbye, Doug.
Bye, Doug.
All right, everybody, and thank you for listening to this week's episode, and we will catch you next week on next week's episode. Have a good night, everyone.